Welcome to my very first live build video. This is very different from my YouTube videos since it's going to be a more in-depth process. Let's go straight to building, and these will be our very tasks. Install Docker, install NAN, install Postgres, Redis. We will do that for a local setup as well as for VPS. And what I did is create an entirely new Windows account because this way you can track everything I did to get to a certain point. Yeah, let's start off locally installing Docker. I've already done that in the first, the initial video. I did that, but then when you install Docker, it asks for you to restart the project, not restart the project, restart your machine. And as soon as I did that, I lost my first recording. So that's the point where we're at right now, but it's pretty simple to install Docker. Just type in Docker, hit Docker desktop. Down here, there will be a button for you to choose your operating system. So Linux, Windows, Mac, install that. When you open up the executable, just go through the installation process and you should be all right. So with Docker installed, and that is pretty easy, just open it up. You don't have to configure anything else. It should work just fine. If it doesn't open up, probably it's already open. Just go down to the system tray and double click it. So your Docker might look like this for now. You don't really need to log in. Just go over to containers or images. Yeah, the panels are all here. First thing we'll install is NAN. So let's cross off Docker, despite I not going through the exact process. Forgive me, but if you have any questions, just leave it down below in the video comment section. Now let's install NAN. I have a command right here to install NAN, but I'll show you how you can get to this command. Let's first go over to Documents, local NAN, and here you'll type in cmd, enter, code, and dot. If you don't have an ID, there's no problem. Just create an empty file in here named .env, so .env, and probably you don't have the view for extensions. To get that, and if I create a new text file right here, see there's .txt. If you don't have this view show file name extension, you won't see the extension for it. You have to activate that. So now it's activated, and I could just go in there, change this to something like whatever.bat, and now it opens up pretty fine. With that .env, go inside of edit notepad, keep changes. Yeah, this is my env. So in here, I'll just place in something like test equals env. Okay, save that. Let me drag this back over here. Now inside that terminal, if you've closed it, cmd again, we'll want to execute a command so that Docker understands what we want it to build. The command is this one, and how you get to that command is simple. Just open up your directory, open up, yeah, this is my cmd. Let me make this that size. This should be all right. Okay, you can get your directory up here in this folder, copy that, drag it over here, and then you'll want to copy it until this point. Okay, copy that, should be fine. Now go over to this part, copy that in there, and that's it. If you didn't create your .env, it will fail because it's looking for the env. And what this is doing is basically allowing you to have a persistent usage of the environment variable as well as a persistent usage of NAN, because you don't want to stop your container or something like that and everything you did in NAN being deleted. So place that in, hit enter. What it's doing right now is going over to Docker registry. NAN, the company, it hosted its files inside of Docker registry, and what it's doing is just fetching that over, bringing it to your own local folder. So if you open up Docker right now, you'll see inside of images that you now have N8N. Because now if you want to install N8N once again, it will be pretty fast because it won't have to download 1.22 gigabytes of the NAN. Okay, so now it's running. If you open this up, just type in your email. Actually, I registered a new email for us to go through the exact process. As for the password, yeah, let me use anything like test 1, 2, 3, 4. I have to use a character, so let's use that. Actually, we don't need to use a character. Yeah, that should work fine. Get started, skip that. Actually, yeah, it's good to get the environment, like the community thing, but yeah. Now we have an installed. That's awesome. We need to install. Nice, that was installed. Check that. Install Postgres. To install Postgres, let me get this from over here. Let's copy this command, head back to our PowerShell, open that up, hit that exact command. And I'm abstracting a lot here. Like, we're not using a password for Postgres, neither are we using it for Redis, but this is all locally, and that doesn't really matter. Okay, so now Postgres is installed and should be running. Is it running? Oh no, I'm inside the images directory. So it's running in here. It has some silly names, so Laughing Beaver. That really doesn't matter. Let's head over to our workflow, create a AI agent workflow. Hit that. Okay. Chat model. I mean, let's not select chat model for now. Let's select Postgres chat memory and credential. Placing in the credential, let me hover down here. The credential for you to access it locally when you do this installation through Docker will be exactly this. So host Docker internal. Just by typing that in and hitting save, it will use the default settings for how you installed your Postgres. Okay, so Postgres is already working. Let's cross that off. Now let's install Redis. Get this command over here. Type that in, and that should be fine. All these commands will be placed in the description for this video, so don't worry. Okay, Redis local, it's running pretty fine. Now, if we try to use Redis in here, let me choose Redis, nice. Credential, and in here will be exactly the same thing. So host Docker internal. Host Docker internal, there are no passwords, there are no users. So when you hit save and you get a connection tested successfully, you know that it's working. Normally, like if you ask ChatGPT how to use this, it will tell you that it's localhost. But then if you save it, you'll see that it doesn't connect. So always use Docker, I mean host Docker internal. Hit save, nice. Okay, so we got through the local installation. Now let's install through VPS. I have taught how to install using Lightsail from Amazon, but if you head over to Lightsail, let me head over there. Lightsail, open up this instance, you'll see that we get a lot of issues when using Lightsail. Probably like if you've used Lightsail before, sometimes you can't execute like basic things because it just drops down your server, and that's because this instance is not enough to run a lot of things. Like when you head over here to the instance, hit create instance, what you have available is exactly like at most 2 gigabytes of memory, 2 vCPUs processing, 60 gigabytes of SSD storage, and 3 terabytes for transfer. What we'll be using is Hostinger. Okay, I am not sponsored by Hostinger. I wish I were, but they're a pretty awesome company. Let me just make this English. Okay, awesome. I suddenly don't want to use English anymore because it's more expensive, as it seems. Let me go back to Brazil. Okay, but this is pretty. Let me see. So for the services, I want to choose VPS. Okay, server VPS, and then it's $32.99 per month. Let's see if I place this in English. It's 7. Okay, yeah, same price. Right. So this one should be enough. And this one has two vCPUs. That's exactly the same from this one. 8 gigabytes of RAM. That's like 4 times higher than what we have in Lightsail. 100 gigabytes of NVMe disk space, 8 terabytes of bandwidth, and it's just more stable. It's better. You can choose many different servers to use this with. So yeah, it's pretty awesome go-to. Just choose this. I know it's like $6.99 a month, but it's worth it. Choose that plan. Let me go through this process and I'll be right back. Let me just pause it while I do this. If you're going to use your N8N as a server, then place it close to your clients. In my case, I'm the only one that'll be using this, so I'll just leave it close to Brazil. Let me select Ubuntu. Exactly. Okay, Ubuntu, last version of Ubuntu. Just hit next. Okay, root password. I'm just going to generate a random one. Nice, free Monarch malware scanner. I don't want that because sometimes they install it in the same port as important stuff. So since I don't want that, why is it telling me to pay it again? I don't get it. Did it not identify my payment or something? Let me check this. Yeah, it was transferred. Are you guys stealing me? What? Okay. Ah, here it is. Your key v2 isn't... No. You got new actions. Okay, set up. Ah, now probably it's the one I paid for. So when I choose that, no, I don't want the Monarch's malware scanner. Let me choose this, continue. Yes, finish setup. Nice, so should be fine now. This process will take about 3 minutes, damn. Okay, while that's happening, let me show you guys how to set up. So Hostinger, let's drag that there. Erase this. This is all open because I was recording like the first tutorial I recorded just kept bugging with Lightsail, and yeah, I just deleted everything and said, okay, no, I can't tell people to use Lightsail anymore because it sucks. It's really bad. Like you can use it for a lot of things, just not if you're really like taking it seriously, or like if you're using MCPs, it will probably definitely fail. Is this ready? Well done, you're ready. Okay, manage VPS. I don't need SSH access. Skip this. Now you should look for the browser terminal. Nice. Click that. Head over to Easy Panel. Grab this command. Wait for the terminal. If the pop-up is blocked, you can select this. Hit done. Nothing open. Let me click that again. It didn't even open like a pop-up. So in here, just paste in the command from Easy Panel, hit enter, and it should install everything correctly. This is the only terminal you have to open for your VPS probably. If nothing goes wrong here, like you won't have to do anything else. But yeah, like I mentioned in the Lightsail tutorial, depending on which VPS you're using, you will have to type in a command such as sudo s. Okay, so it seemed like it's done. Let's open this up. Just copy exactly this. You'll have to select it, hit copy, paste it up here. If you don't have that, just head back to your Hostinger and get this right here. This is your IP address, IPv4 address. It's down here also. Just select that, place it in your URL field. Let me use this password. Actually, now I can't use this password, right? Let me drag it here. Use strong password. Do this. How did you hear about? How did you find Easy Panel? Blah. Actually, let's help them. So YouTube. I want to receive updates. No, I do not want to receive Easy Panel updates. Now, the most important part, I always say this, the extremely important part about Easy Panel is checking this. Do not use Easy Panel light mode. It's awful. So dashboard, projects, main, create, and now we're going through exactly what we did before, but instead of placing in commands like we did, we can just use Easy Panel, which is it's a no-code infrastructure way to set things up. So, okay, we have this registered. Now we did install Easy Panel, and now we have to install NAN. It's easy as first we created the project, now we have to create a service. Inside the service, we'll add NAN. Nice. For like here's a pretty important part that people sometimes overlook. If you want your NAN to always stay updated, place in latest in here. When should you choose that? Like for my case, this is a test, so I won't use this for production. So I don't mind having the latest version every single time. So I'll leave in latest. But if you're working in production, ideally you should leave like the best, like the last best version and not leave latest marked. Because if you do so, every time NAN updates, you'll get the latest version. And that is good when they make security issues like security updates. But it's bad because if it's automatically updating your project, many of the things you have in your project might break, and then you can't reverse it, or like some issues you just can't go back. And so for production, select a version and then back up before you update, hit create. Okay, that was created. If you ever want to change that, just head over to source and change it in here. So then you'll want to place like 1.64.0. Yeah, just change it like that. Okay, so NAN is spinning up. While that is happening, let's go on and install Redis. Actually, it's not in here, it's up here. Click that, type in Redis. If you leave this empty, it will create a password for you. Hit create, and that's it. Like Redis is created. Hit the plus sign, Postgres, type in Postgres, hit create. Nice. Now, why Redis and Postgres? Mainly because further on we'll use some WhatsApp integrations and you'll have to have Postgres as well as Redis, but also because there's a lot of things you can build with these two. Okay, that was installed. NAN seems to be installed. If you want to check how the installation is going, you can check that through the terminal down here. Editor is now accessible. If that happens, that's because the domain here is correctly placed. So they provide you with the HTTPS domain, so you don't have to worry about that. Just open it up. And inside of school, let me head over to school. It's in the free community actually. So opening up classroom and opening up NAN guides. Let me see evolution setup. No, it's in, oh, I'm already here. So connect a custom domain to Easy Panel. So this just helps you connect in a custom domain, which, like, don't bother about that. I know it keeps telling you that it's insecure, and every time you access this, so if I go over here and type this in, it'll say that it's not secure and all, but you know it's secure because it's like your website, it's your server, so don't mind that. As for NAN, it will be inside of an HTTP, so that's awesome. Leonardo, Mario, let me place that there, hit next, open it up, hit get started. Now I'll get the license key. This license key helps us because let me do something in here like AI agent, add that, close this, save it. Okay. If I change something, like I drag this down here and save it, see that I can't use the history? Now, I go over to my Gmail and access this, get that. Where do I have to go? Yeah, down here, settings, personal, no, usage, enter activation key, place that in, activate. 3, 2, 1, it's activated. Now go back. And now, whatever I do, I save it. I can select this and go back to my previous version. So yes, it's awesome to have that activation key. Let's drag this over here. And now we have successfully installed NAN. As for Postgres and Redis, let's test them to see if they're working, and also for you guys to understand how you can drag them in here, setting them up as the credentials, because it's very different and yeah, very different from localhost. Postgres, down here in credentials, you'll get access to the internal host. Select that, place that in here, select password, place that as well. I believe that's enough. Hit save, and you're all set. Now for Redis chat memory, credential, go on to Redis, credential, internal host, password, hit save, perfect. Now here's the thing. You can't access this Redis instance, this Redis service from another place. Even if you create a different project, like if you come in here and create a project like blah, and you try to access, like if you have an NAN in here and you try to access either Postgres, either Redis, you won't be able to. And the way that you would be able to do that is if you come over here to Redis, hit expose, place in a custom port for Redis. I forgot what it is. You can always search that. So Redis port, the Redis common port number, it isn't 94. Yeah, it's this one, 6379. So just place that in, 6379, hit save. And now you can see your external connection URL here. Grab that, place that in wherever you need to use it, and you can use it fine. You can even use it locally. So if I head over to, I have my Docker here, open up my NAN, let's select a Redis node. Yeah, whatever, I just need to access the credential. For me to access Redis public VPS, I'm awful with names. You could access it by selecting that password over there. The user is default, and then for your host, place that in, remove the port from it. I believe like this, it should work. Yeah, so it worked fine. But if I go back to my easy panel and remove, stop exposing this, now you can't connect it externally. And if I retry, I shouldn't be able to connect to it. So leave that off in case you don't know what you're doing, because you'll be basically allowing other places to access your service. So yeah, where is this ColleDraw? Postgres set, Redis all set, and that completes the VPS setup.